this video, we are going to see how we can use the crop tool to straighten and crop our images and then resize them to some specific sizes. So for example, we are going to resize the image so it perfectly fits the Instagram's platform. We are going to resize it so it fits a 10 by 8 inch frame. And then we are going to resize it so it prints as a 5 by 7 inch print with the white border around it. Okay, so the shortcut for the crop tool is C. And then first of all, because this image looks slightly angled, I'm going to use this ruler on top. Then I'm going to find a line inside of the image that should be straight and then draw a line like this, which will straighten the image. I can now resize my crop like this, or reposition the crop like this, and then when I'm happy with it, I can double click. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make 4 copies of this image. So I'm going to go to Image and then say Duplicate. Once, Image, Duplicate, again, and again. This can be useful sometimes if you want to do several different edits and then compare images side by side. I will go back to the first one. So if we wanted to upload this image to Instagram, it would get cropped because Instagram uses a different aspect ratio. Instagram's aspect ratio for landscape images is 16 by 9. So if you use the crop tool again, we could use the 16 by 9 ratio and then crop our image. Or we could also go to width times height times resolution and then enter the exact dimensions that we need. So for example, for landscape images, Instagram uses 1080 pixels, so px, times 608 pixels, and the resolution should be 72 pixels per inch. So now I can adjust my crop again, maybe like this, and then when I double click, Photoshop is going to crop the image and make it the exact size that I specified here. If you go to image size, and if you change this to pixels, you can see that the size is 1080 times 608 pixels. Okay, let's have a look at another example. I can right click and then reset the crop. Let's say that I wanted to post this on Instagram, but in portrait orientation. So again, the dimensions are 1080 pixels times 1350 pixels, like this. And the resolution should be, again, set to 72 pixels per inch. And now I can, again, adjust my crop. Like this. When I'm happy with it, I can double click. And then again, if I press Command, Option I for image size, I can see that I get the exact dimensions for the portrait orientation. Okay, so let's see if we wanted to crop this image so it fits a 10 by 8 inch frame. Again, I can use the crop tool. I can reset the crop, and then I could enter 10 inches by 8 inches and then set the resolution to 300 pixels per inch. Okay, so now again I can crop my image like this, or if I wanted this to be a 10 by 8 print in the portrait orientation, I can swap the two sides by clicking onto these arrows like this. And double click like this. Again, if I check the dimensions, I go Command Option I now get an 8 by 10 inch print, and the resolution is set to 300 pixels per inch. And let's have a look at another example. So we said that we wanted to make a print which is 5 by 7 inches, and then we wanted to have a white border around it. So for this, I could use the 5 by 7 ratio like this and crop the image. Let's say like this, just as an example. Double click. And then what I can do is, if you go to image size again, I can now set the width a little bit smaller than 7 inches so that I leave a white border around the image. So let's say that I set this to 6 inches. Click OK. And then if I go to image, canvas size, or you press Command Option C on the keyboard, I can change the dimensions to inches and then set this to be 7 by 5, and then also make sure that the extension color is set to white. Click OK. Now I get the canvas with the white border and the image inside of it. And then you can, for example, send this to an online lab like Snapfish. So you would get a 5 by 7 print with a white border around it.